where news comes first. This is ABC-7 Extra.
Good evening, I'm Saul Saenz, and this is ABC-7 Extra. Thank you for allowing us into your homes. After weeks of record-breaking numbers of people testing positive for COVID-19, high hospitalization rates, and people in ICU, new trends are starting to emerge as the numbers are dropping. However, COVID-19 related deaths are still being reported, impacting hundreds of families who lost loved ones to the coronavirus. By contrast, trends are looking even better in New Mexico, where officials in our neighboring state are considering reopening classrooms to in-person instruction by Labor Day. Now, gone are the days of long waits for people waiting to get tested at state-sponsored sites in El Paso, but those waits are down because people in the Borderland and across the state are not going to get tested. We visited one of those test sites and witnessed for ourselves how fewer people are showing up. One woman who was tested a second time compared it to her first test experience a month ago. Reason you got tested today?
Because my daughter plays volleyball. And it's a concern because it's a club.
Angie Rodriguez was one of just a few El Pasoans coming out to this mega test site in East El Paso. This is not the first time she gets tested for COVID-19. First time you got tested, was there a long line?
It was longer. Yeah. Today it was, not even 10 minutes.
This is what Rodriguez and others experienced a few weeks ago when they came out to test sites like these. Long lines with El Pasoans waiting for hours for a test. The contrast was not lost on Rodriguez and other folks tested today, but the fact that fewer people are being tested is a concern with health and city officials.
Because there are so many who are positive who have absolutely no symptoms at all whatsoever. And the only way we're going to get our arms around what this virus does and how it expands is to have everyone tested.
In fact, the mayor is concerned state testing centers like these will cease operations unless more people use them. Right now, the state's commitment is only until August 31st. Fewer and fewer people are getting tested. Does that concern you?
Yes, it does, because I think there's more people that they're asymptomatic, and that's why it's getting spread.
Now, viewers continue reaching out to ABC-7 to say they were tested several weeks ago and still do not have the results. All that could change with rapid testing results in days, if not hours. The fall semester at UTEP starts tomorrow. Students will have access to university testing. Here to talk to us about testing for COVID-19 for students in UTEP is President Heather Wilson. Also joining us is Representative for the New Mexico Department of Health, where trends are pointing in several encouraging directions. David Morgan, thank you both for joining us. And I'll start with you, Ms. Wilson. You all start school tomorrow, and you have testing where you can test as many as 500 students a day. You want to elaborate on that?
Sure. We actually started ramping up almost a week ago, making sure we had all the kinks worked out, and we have reached 500 a day. This is based on our faculty expertise in these areas, and so we do the sample here at 4 different locations and walk up on campus. It's free, it's convenient, it's taken less than 5 minutes from start to finish, and then the sample never leaves campus. We actually do the assessment of the sample here on campus so that we can get the results back the next day.
So you have results the very next day?
Next day. And the whole point here is we don't want anyone who's sick to come to campus. But the 20-somethings are generally the age group where people suspect a lot of asymptomatic carriers. So we're trying to find people who are sick and don't know it so they can stay home to get better.
Yeah. I'll turn to you, Mr. Morgan. You're having very encouraging results in New Mexico. Is it because of rapid testing? What is the answer over there, the reason that you're having encouraging results?
We're having encouraging results because we experienced a surge in New Mexico just like the rest of the nation did. But we have been fortunate enough that the majority of New Mexicans have gotten back on the wagon, as it were, to be able to limit their travel and to be able to make sure that they are properly masked and distanced when they're out in public. Now, there are still places in New Mexico where this is an issue, but overall in New Mexico, our COVID case numbers are declining, and that is nothing but good news.
Talk to me about testing in New Mexico. Were you able to get rapid results there as well? Because one of the biggest things, as you just heard Ms. Wilson, is we have people who are asymptomatic still among the general population and could infect others.
One thing that we have been very fortunate in, and it's not been consistent over these last 5.5 months, but by and large, we have managed to be able to test within our limits. We do have limited testing capacity, probably as every state does, but being able to test within our limits has allowed our ability to be able to turn around test results within 24 to 48 hours by and large.
Dr. Wilson, this is key. The fact that you're able to get results right away. Are you sharing some of this, some of your findings and some of this rapid testing with El Paso?
In fact, we turn in our numbers every morning to the city of El Paso, so it's included in the overall data, and they can do the contact tracing off of our campus. But I think the important thing, and you mentioned it, is testing alone isn't the answer, and there's no one strategy that is. And so here at UTEP, we are encouraging people to work or study remotely when they can. We're encouraging and requiring, in most cases, best health practices all the time. And we have set up our campus physically so that people can have more distance. We expanded the schedule and so forth. And then there's the proactive testing piece. So there's no one strategy that's going to help us keep the disease down so people can study. But we hope that by doing these things, we have 29,000 students and employees at UTEP. That's about, and if everyone is in a household of 3, which is roughly right here in El Paso, that means we can impact 10% of the population of the city directly in their homes.
Okay, we're going to continue the conversation. This is ABC-7 Extra. When we come back, I'll ask my guests what can be done to reduce the numbers. Also, can El Paso health officials learn from New Mexico's experience of turning the tide against COVID-19? You're watching ABC-7 Extra, where news comes first.
It's Crawford Buick GMC's used car sales event. Our hand-picked inventory of great used cars, trucks, and SUVs are on sale right now.
2015 Toyota RAV4, $14,777. 2016 Buick Encore, $16,777. 2015 Chrysler 300S, $17,777.
Let's go.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is here with great offers on a huge selection, like 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup, America's best-selling brand. It's summer, so grab the family and head out. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Drive the all-new Ford Explorer with 0% financing for 72 months only at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford, built for Texas, built for you.
Our dealers are ready, and with online options available, you can shop our best offers any way you choose. The Acura Summer Performance Event. Don't miss it.
Visit Fox Acura of El Paso for attractive offers on the RDX.
Are you ready to sink your teeth into a lemon pepper, sweet and spicy Korean cute-tastic, mango habanero
masterclass in all things wings?
Yes, I am.
Are you though?
Get Wingstop's new all-in bundle delivered for a limited time.
Uh-oh.
What?
I think I forgot to lock my Buick.
Parallel parking.
That hot yoga was so hot. Check this out. Cooling seats?
Alexa, ask Buick to start my SUV.
You can do that.
You can do that?
You can't do that.
You can with the Buick.
At the heart of every Buick SUV is you. Now everyone can get GM employee pricing on most 2020 Buick SUV models. Use it to get over $7,200 total value on this Enclave Avenir.
It's Crawford Buick GMC's used car sales event. Trucks and SUVs are on sale right now.
2019 Nissan Rogue, $18,777. 2019 Chevy Equinox, $20,777. 2015 Chevy Camaro SS, $25,777.
Let's go.
Welcome back. Friday morning, the city held a roundtable talk, taking questions about the virus, the way that it's behaving, as well as the battle against COVID-19. One of the tools being used is contact tracing. However, we learned not everyone is being sincere in the response to workers conducting contact tracing. Add to that, El Paso's health official says there may be unscrupulous people trying to profit from this terrible virus.
There's challenges in the way that the contact tracing is, because many people might not want to disclose the people that they were around because they're afraid that the other people are going to get upset at them. They might not want to say where they were. Basically, again, because they don't want to say that they were doing other activities that might put at risk many other people. And nowadays also there's still scammers calling people, telling them that they're contact tracers, and we need to be very, very careful as how, especially elders, provide information over the phone to people that might not be somebody from the health department, somebody that is doing contact tracing activities.
That was our health authority, Dr. Xtra Carranza. I also want to welcome back UTEP President Heather Wilson. UTEP starts its fall semester tomorrow. The university can test as many as 500 students a day. And David Morgan, spokesperson for the New Mexico Department of Health. New Mexico has been seeing encouraging trends in its fight against COVID-19. I'll start with you, Dr. Wilson. You do contact tracing at UTEP. Have you experienced a similar situation where people don't really want to give all the information that they're supposed to? Or perhaps some unscrupulous people out there trying to gather information for their own benefit?
I think the city's right. That is a problem with you know, you get a call and you're not sure it's legit, and people are reluctant because they know that there are scammers out there, which is just, I mean, that's just awful. I do think, though, that there's, first of all, the numbers are starting down here in El Paso, and they have been going down really for the last 3.5 weeks here. They've had some data problems, and we've been working with them to make sure that we have the right data to make decisions here for the university.
You're talking about delays, right?
Hospitalizations as well, which is very good to see.
Yeah, you're talking about delays in gathering that information or getting that information back, correct?
That's right, and so we've been able to pull that out and at least apply it to the correct week. But when you look at hospitalizations, ICU, as well as those who are testing positive, the trends are going in the right direction in El Paso. I actually think there are two things that could end this. One is obviously a vaccine. The other one that people haven't been talking about so much is very low-cost testing. So think about, you know, the equivalent of a cheap home pregnancy test, or even a keto strip, you know, a piece of paper with a reagent on it. And the FDA has been reluctant to approve those because they're only 80% accurate, and they have false negatives. But if we can get everybody to take one of those every day, the fact that there are that many false negatives isn't going to matter. We'll be able to do testing, isolate people, and have them stay home if they're sick. And I think that's a potential game changer. And I think there's some technologies being developed that may start to get us there.
Mr. Morgan, did you all conduct contact tracing in Las Cruces and by virtue, and obviously by extension, New Mexico? How effective was that? And how were you able to encourage people to get out there and get tested?
Contact tracing and contact investigating are a challenge in New Mexico, just as they are in Texas. You know, of course, there is also the issue of scammers trying to reach out to the constituents in our state. There's also, in some cases, it's a political statement not to participate in a contact investigation. And then also there is the issue of immigration status, which does not come up in our contact investigations. We're primarily concerned with people's health, not their immigration status, and we just want to make sure that they are well, and if necessary, they are tested.
Your governor also in New Mexico, you also had somewhat of a lockdown where you weren't really encouraging people to visit the state of New Mexico. Did that help as well?
It certainly didn't hurt in terms of being able to try to limit community spread across our state. Nevertheless, though, when you are trying to choose between the economy and people's health, there is going to be a cost. And there is no question that New Mexico's economy has accounted a cost while we are doing our very best to be able to minimize the community spread and to be able to live with the virus within the means of our medical infrastructure.
You're talking about vital signs versus dollar signs. Dr. Wilson, let's talk about the fact that El Paso is a border city and we do have immigration coming over to El Paso. Has that been an issue based on the studies that you all have been conducting?
Well, I'm not sure whether it's an issue or not in contact tracing, and the county could certainly talk more about that. But of course, as a university, we start school next Monday. We have 1,000 students who come across the bridge every day to come to school here at UTEP, and we have faculty and staff that live in Juarez and teach here. Ironically, when the virus first hit, we're used to working with Customs and Border Patrol and moving people back and forth over the border. We ended up having a problem with faculty who live in Las Cruces who couldn't come to campus when New Mexico closed its border. I never thought I'd have to deal with that as an issue.
Ironically, that was mentioned by the governor of New Mexico, folks from El Paso going over to New Mexico. Isn't that right, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, there's always been traffic in between our cities. I myself spent many years working in El Paso and commuting myself.
Specifically here at ABC-7, is that correct?
Among other stations, yes.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to take another quick break. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. Still ahead, I'll ask my guest where rates need to be in order for UTEP to fully open in-classroom instruction and for Las Cruces to open up classrooms. We'll be back.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is here with great offers on a huge selection, like 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup, America's best-selling brand. It's summer, so grab the family and head out. It's easier now during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Drive the 2020 Ford Expedition with 0 for 72 plus $2,000 cash back, only at your Texas Ford dealer. Ford, built for Texas, built for you.
How may I help you? I'm an insurance adjuster. I settle claims for pennies on the dollar. Let's consult the ball. You sure this thing works? I need to see my crystal ball. You are wondering if the man that torments you will ever disappear. Yeah, the attorney that keeps meddling in my business. His name is Michael Gopin. Hey, what just happened?
Michael Gopin just happened.
Call the law offices of Michael Gopin right now. You'll be taken care of.
Nervous about going out to see the doctor? At WellMed, you can see a doctor from the comfort of your own home. Just schedule an online visit. It's a secure, private medical appointment using a smartphone, tablet, or computer. Go to myhealthteamnow.com to register or download the My Health Team Now app. Stay safe, stay home, and keep getting all the care you need. Learn more about becoming a WellMed patient today.
Introducing the most capable Sierra lineup ever.
Step up to GMC and get $7,000 purchase cash on this 2020 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab Texas Edition. That's an MSRP under $46,000. See your El Paso Las Cruces GMC dealers.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Joining us now is UTEP President Heather Wilson and spokesman for the New Mexico Health Department, David Morgan. Let's get on to the topic at hand. What has been the situation in New Mexico? What do you believe it's gonna take to be able to open up classrooms in Las Cruces? What rates do you think you'll be able to achieve to be able to open up classrooms there, Mr. Morgan?
Well, as a matter of fact, the state announced just on Thursday that we have reached our gating criteria to be able to begin phase 2 of opening. It's taken several months. It's taken getting through a very awkward, sometimes painful surge. But we have met our gating criteria to be able to begin phase 2 of opening, which will have a component of being able to open our public schools again.
What was that criteria?
That criteria it consists of really, what our positive test rates are. Our rolling 7 days a week test rate and how it changes from day to day. We have been lucky that overall in New Mexico that it has been falling. It's not falling in all places across the state, and it is falling at a slower rate in Doña Ana County than it has in other parts of New Mexico, but nevertheless, we are moving in the right direction.
Dr. Wilson, what's it going to take? Because I know that when you open up tomorrow classrooms, you'll be both hybrid, virtual learning, and a very limited in-person classroom. What's it going to take for UTEP to fully open to in-person instruction?
Well, of course, we designed our courses so that those courses that really do need to be in person are the ones we prioritize to put into person. And then we got that's about 5%, about 20% or maybe 15% are hybrid in some way. And then the rest are starting out by distance. And probably, given the course of this disease and the likelihood of a vaccine, we have to anticipate that the fall semester is going to be pretty much like that. And the reason is, of course, even if they come up with a vaccine, our students, healthy 20-year-olds, aren't going to be the first ones in line as a priority. It's got to go to the nursing homes. It has to go to the congregate care settings and those things. So we expect we're probably going to have to operate this way through the fall.
There's a bit of irony there, though, because we were talking in the first and second segment how the 20-year-olds are the ones who are more likely to be asymptomatic and spread it. Wouldn't it make sense for them to get the vaccine first?
Well, but the issue is that for us, is we're trying to keep them from infecting their families. But it's much more important for people who have diabetes or who are over age 65 or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or high blood pressure. They're the ones who need the vaccine first. And I think we just need to make sure that the people get it who need it first.
We have, Mr. Morgan, we have a high rate of underlying conditions here in El Paso, as you well know, diabetes and hypertension. Is that the situation in New Mexico as well?
Very much so. We are, of course, predominantly Hispanic in New Mexico. That means that pre-existing conditions, underlying conditions for Hispanics are going to be very much in play for COVID-19. So diabetes and hypertension have been an issue and have played in the extent of the severity of COVID-19 for many New Mexicans.
Are you making reference to the Native American tribal nations? Because I do know that some of the tribal nations in New Mexico actually had to shut down the reservations because of that. Is that correct?
That is correct, and there are similar issues in that respect as well. Plus, just remember, culturally, we are multi-generational households. We have, family from young to old living in our homes. My 92-year-old mother is probably watching tonight. And, so there's the potential for exposure for our loved ones and the potential impact that it can have on them really is multiplied.
Dr. Wilson, I'll turn to your expertise. How soon do you think, or how far off do you believe that we will have a vaccine, just given the fact that obviously in university and you have a lot of research going on right there? What is the outlook?
Well, I know that there are 5 or 6 companies around the world that are doing starting human trials. It has to be proven safe and effective. But if one of those is, the federal government has put billions of dollars into starting manufacturing of all of those options so that whichever one works, they'll be ready to start doing vaccination and they'll just throw away the rest. That'll accelerate the vaccine availability, but you've got to come a cropper on one of those 5 or 6. So knock on wood, maybe this fall we might have something that'll work, and then it's a question of moving forward with vaccination in the spring.
Yeah. Mr. Morgan, your response?
Any vaccine that is going to be initially released just needs to be 50% effective, 50%. And obviously that is not going to be enough to be able to make COVID-19 go away and we can get back to life as usual. But at least it will be a start, and it will be an opportunity or an additional tool to be able to control the spread of this virus.
Any final thoughts, Dr. Wilson?
Well, we're looking forward to school starting, and we've talked to all of our students that we're going to do best health practices all the time because minors take care of minors.
Okay, Dr. Wilson, Mr. Morgan, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us on the Sunday evening. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Saul Saenz, and this has been ABC-7 Extra. Good night y buenas noches.